Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 193 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as what we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my Grammy-nominated co-hosts.
My name is Craig. 2 albums coming out in the next 6 months, so make sure to check those out.
My name is also Craig. The anger is high in our household right now because Ghost did not win Best Metal Album. It went to Metallica again. So there's an angry daughter upstairs at the moment. So thoughts in the chat for her.
That's rough.
Yeah, that is
yeah.
Metallica. They give it to Metallica like every year.
That was going to be my question. Is there every a small rant that needs to happen about Metallica just winning it because they're Metallica? I mean, I like Metallica, but
no, because I don't pay attention to the Grammys.
Well, yeah, new Metallica though is different. Like I'm still a classic Metallica guy.
Oh yeah,
that's fair.
Ride the Lightning, yeah, Justice for All, yeah. Oh my God.
Yep.
But enough about the music news. Let's talk about video game and movie news. We're just going to start off with the biggest portion of it is the state of play that happened over this week.
Yeah.
Sony did a good job of whether it's timing, because not a lot has happened other than the state of play in gaming world this time around. But how do you guys want to do it? Do you guys want me to go over the big announcements and then we talk over?
Just run them down. Why don't you just run them all down
and we'll just talk about it.
All right. So Steller Blade, we got extended gameplay of coming out in April. Death Stranding 2 in 2025 with a 10-minute exposition trailer, I guess I'll call it. And
exposition dump.
Yeah. And then this was all at the very end of the state of play, but Hideo Kojima mentions that he is working on a new action espionage game that's created for next gen. It's all types of weird. The project's name is Physit.
That man's so weird, and I love it.
I love every second of it.
We have Rise of Ronin. We have Metro Awakening VR, also on Meta. A little bit confusing, but it is also on Meta as well as PlayStation VR. We finally got extended look at Judas. I shouldn't say extended. We got gameplay. Until Dawn remaster or rebuild, depending on how you want to do it. Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Look cool.
And then we also have a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth state of play coming. Let's see.
This week.
Right?
Week.
I have a rant about that, by the way.
So the day the podcast drops, there is there's more state of play Final Fantasy stuff for you.
Yep.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, like, do we just go into your rant? While it's fresh on your mind?
Do it.
It's not going to be as good as a Craig rant. It's not going to be as detailed and informative, but I was a little upset when I saw another state of play specifically dedicated to Rebirth and I think I'm borrowing this from the both of you, either personally in our conversations or on this podcast when we're doing it. We've seen enough.
I don't want any more.
What is that going to do for us? And like, I don't know if it's because I'm 35 and I get more angry about certain smaller things than I did in my 20s, but you had the Rebirth. We've seen enough Rebirth. Don't show anything that's going to give me any more about this game and let me enjoy it like everybody else. The game comes out at the end of the month.
Yep.
We all pre-ordered it. You don't need to show us anything. We are strapped in and we are ready to go for the second installment of one of the most popular video game with arguably two of the most popular video game characters, antagonists and protagonists of all time. Let us play the game. Like, I'm going to watch it, but like,
I didn't. I intentionally didn't watch it.
You have more willpower than me, good sir. I'm angry. I'm angry as a person who knows he's going to watch it. I'm angry that it's offered. Like, just let the game come out. We're going to play and see exactly what you're going to show us next week. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts. This rant did not have bullet points. I was just going to kind of say, I was going to say what was on my mind and not swear. Those were the 2 bullet points.
Just to tie into that too, the rumor is with the state of play for Final Fantasy next week, specifically Tuesday, I think, that they're going to be dropping a demo same day as well.
That's yeah. It's
Yeah,
also what I'd be
with
thinking as
the
well.
whatever you do in the demo, I guess if you complete the demo, just like the Final Fantasy demo, it'll give you stuff for the game when it comes out. So that's about the only thing I'm excited for. But yeah, I didn't watch it purposefully. I was like, I don't need any more. We all know we're buying it. I would rather be surprised going in. I may not even watch the state of play.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, I don't know if I will either. It really depends on what they show. But then before I forget as well, I was just reminded of this in my head. We also got to look at Silent Hill 2 and
Yes.
Silent Hill: The Short Message.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's a demo or if it's just a game that you
It's a
can
game.
play.
It's a
Yeah,
demo
it's
game.
I thought it was a game. I don't know. It seemed.
I played it.
Yeah.
Play it now.
Same.
Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So speaking of, I was gonna say, do we just want to roll right into Silent Hill then, just because it's a speaking point and we're into transition point here? You guys are more the Silent Hill than I am, so I will let you take it away.
It looks terrible.
Yeah. When considering 2024's basic parameters, not picky parameters, but basic parameters, it does look bad.
I don't know what it is about that trailer for Silent Hill 2, but like the combat looked bad.
Yeah.
It just, I guess maybe because you look at last year, we had Dead Space and Resident Evil 4, and you're like, oh my God, those are remakes. And then you look at this and I don't know, it just looked bad.
It did. And it was surprising too, because like, I don't know. We want so much Silent Hill. We've been like a lot of people have been clamoring for it, and now we're actually getting a sensory overload amount. I don't know if that's changing the way we look at everything that we see now that we know that so many projects are coming out. But it didn't look good, and it was sandwiched in between a lot of good looking stuff. You know, if we could generally talk about the state of play, there was a lot of good stuff there. But like I don't know, just wasn't as appetizing as I wanted it to be honest.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, Craig, you mentioned some of the good stuff. What did you want to talk about?
Oh, well, I mean, Hideo's a weirdo, and I love how much PlayStation loves his weird, because they give him essentially a like nepotism amount of time. They do. They just give him so much time. In classic fashion, I didn't know what was going on in that Death Stranding 2 trailer. There was a lot of stuff going on. There's classic weird stuff that he introduces, especially when he has the ability to, well, not when he has the ability, when he wants to. Like the hand thing that was like the masks. My wife really enjoyed that, and she kept wanting it to come back because they started.
It was weird.
It was weird. In the trailer, you're looking for the baby, and the baby does make an appearance. But then when they showed the gameplay, I was reminded of how much like FedEx Simulator time is there. It looked like what they were going to do is maybe make traversal a little less. I don't want to say bland, but they look like they're going to amp that up, which is what sequels should do. I'm here for it. I want to play every Hideo project until the man stops releasing his creative exports to the world. So I'm gonna play it. And I'm excited for it. It was weird. Like I was laughing to myself because I was like, wait, what is going on? You know, Stellar Blade, I'm sold.
So before you get into Steller Blade, I'm going to announce here on the podcast that the game I'm going to beat this year that I've never beaten, not like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Is ours the same?
Yeah, I have to beat Death Stranding.
Yep.
I
was literally just about to say that.
Yes,
I have it I installed it on my PS5 after the state of play, and I literally said to myself, I will not pull a Red Dead this year. I will get through Death Stranding, and hopefully, because they have the the director's cut,
it's supposed
I'm
to
hoping that makes it better for me. So we can hold ourselves accountable again, even though we didn't last year.
Well, and to be fair, last year, everybody keeps telling you about how Red Dead Redemption 2 gets so good if you give it enough
Mhm.
time. We don't have the time to give it enough time.
Correct.
It's so much time though.
I'm not
Mhm.
I'm not buying one game every 3 months. I literally bought 3 games this week. So it's like,
Yep.
you know, my attention span is short, and if you can't grab it, you don't get it. That's how it works here.
Yep.
So, I'm glad we're on the same page, because I was thinking, like, me and Craig, we're usually
Yep.
about that. So it's
There's
nice
always
to see.
one. The only
Yeah.
thing that might hold me back is Infinite Wealth. That could put a damper on it because I'm trying to get through that. But I
Mhm.
do want to play Death Stranding. That is my goal for this year.
It's a
We have a lot of time.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have time.
Let's talk about Stellar Blade.
Ugh.
Whew.
Trash.
No.
I'm
It's
just kidding.
Barry, in our collective our group chat. Did I say that it's near? I forget if I texted that or not. Like
No, you
it's
didn't say anything, but it looks like and excuse me for the word, like a mosh pot, or like a mixing of a lot of different
Yeah.
genres. I
yeah,
get a lot of Nier from it. I get a lot of Bayonetta
yeah.
from it. There are aspects of like Final Fantasy 13 with like the
Mhm.
cooking portion of things and XP and buying stuff, and it seems like there is a lot of mixture going on with like brutal executions like from God of War. Um, I'm primarily excited. It's not a long wait for this game. It's just in April, so pretty much, we talk about, and I'm not sure if we have, about, Sony looks like it's going to be a down year for them, but literally the first 3 months, February, March, April, you have Final Fantasy, you
Yep.
have Rise of Ronin, and then you also have and then you have Stellar Blade in April. So like at
Mhm.
that point, you now have 3 months of back-to-back PlayStation exclusives that could be very good.
Yeah.
Is it the household names? No, it is not. But
Right.
I honestly think that Sony is Sony is almost taking a more experimental route this year. I think, with the chance of,
I'm okay with that.
it's not the Spider-Man, it's not the God of War, but we recently got those, so you can't, you really can't be mad at what they're putting out right now. And
Yeah.
I think Stellar Blade looks cool. I don't know if that was the right trailer to show everyone, if we're being honest. I
Yeah.
didn't need a 3-minute exposition dump of, oh, look, here we are in a campfire. You can buy items from it. Like, how is that supposed to hype people up for the game? It
Yeah.
confuses me.
Did you see a little bit of Oh my God, what was that game that I think Barry loved the most out of the three of us? But Scarlet.
Scarlet
Scarlet
Nexus.
Nexus,
Did you see
yes.
some of that in there? I saw some of that. Hey,
um,
I have like there. It had a bits and pieces of that too. I think the monsters or whatever she was fighting, kind of.
that's where you get the Scarlet Nexus vibe.
Yeah, and how they were appearing to, yeah.
Mhm.
Bring back Scarlet Nexus 2. I need that. I need a sequel to Scarlet Nexus, even though I might be the
Yeah.
only person that buys it. But yeah, so speaking about some of the other stuff that I want to talk about, we have Sonic X Shadow Generations. We are
Yep.
getting remakes of levels from the Sonic Adventure 2 games, which is my childhood.
Yep.
So I am very excited to see, like, just that where it's not only Sonic but Shadow's portion of things too. All of his levels, like, he does not have a 2D side scroller like regular Sonic games. So I do wonder if, we're going to be getting remakes of Shadow the Hedgehog the game, where Shadow has a gun kind of deal there. So I think it's going to be fun, and I it's nice to see that Frontiers was a cool, like, thought experiment, I guess.
Yeah.
Superstars gave us the 2D. This is what I've wanted. I've wanted like a 3D, roaming adventure with a little bit of the 2D mix back in there. I am very excited for this game, probably more than most.
It looks cool.
It does. That they made a good trailer.
Mhm.
They made a good trailer. It looked really, really, really cool.
I thought it was a remake at first. I was like, is
Mhm.
this a remake of Sonic Generation? What is happening? What are we doing? I'm in for it. I'll try it.
So then we talk about, like, you guys want to talk about Judas, right?
Judas looks
Shh.
like BioShock.
It's
Yeah.
BioShock.
No
That's all you
kidding.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It,
BioShock. It looks great.
I'm a little hesitant on it, and I don't know why, but there's something in that trailer that I couldn't put my finger on that I was like, oh, this may not be what I want it to be. But something about that trailer, it just kind of gave me like when we watched Atomic Hearts and we got excited for that, and then it came out, and we're
Mm.
Yeah.
like, this isn't good. I hope that's not the case,
I
because we're
hope so.
talking about former people who worked on BioShock are making this game, and you can tell.
Yeah.
I'm crossing my fingers that it's good.
Yeah, it almost like, and I don't want to get my hopes too much up for it, but it almost feels like what I was hoping We Happy Few was going
Yeah.
to be,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
it's just not. It just really
Yeah.
isn't. Let's see here. What do you guys think of the Until Dawn remake?
Why?
I
I
wasn't
was
expecting it.
Yeah, when it started, I was hoping that they were gonna somehow like sequel Until
Yeah.
Dawn specifically, and the more you watch it, the more you're like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Oh, this is just a remake or a PS5, like
Game already looked good. Why do we
it
need
did.
to remake it? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Odd choice.
Agreed. And that was a good transition. I should have saved that one for later. Nevertheless, so Rise of Ronin.
Yeah.
I'm conflicted.
Same.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I like
Looks weird.
Yeah.
it's not only that it looks weird, but the environment kind of reminds me of an Assassin's Creed feel.
Mhm.
And you get a little bit of, maybe a Souls-like type of game with it as well. I'm gonna be getting it most likely, but I wasn't like, this is one of the first PlayStation exclusives where I'm not like fully, yeah, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be good. Um,
I'm in your boat, Barry.
yeah,
Same thing.
I was
Same
really
same
I was
exact
really
thing.
surprised because
It
I
seemed
thought,
like floaty almost. I don't know. It was just something was off.
Yeah, and like I am and I'm not sold on what type of fighting gameplay we've seen. Something
Yeah.
about it. I'm
yeah,
having Craig, I'm having the pit in your stomach thing where like I feel like it's gonna be purchased and we're not gonna like it. We're gonna get maybe a halfway through. Um, I think I'm gonna get what I had with Wulong last year, which is I finished that game,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't having the most fun that I could have while I was finishing it, if that makes sense. Like I didn't have that feeling in my stomach where I'm like, I can't wait to play Wulong after work,
Yeah.
and for what it's showing, it looks like it's supposed to be that game for people, for including us. So like you, Barry, I'm probably still gonna get it, but I'm not putting my rent on it that I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
You know.
anything else you guys wanted to mention about it? Uh,
Small thing for me.
Go ahead.
Sure.
For somebody who thinks that Metroid games, I'm sorry, Metro games are a very interesting, awesome, cutaway type of genre. Something that we're all excited for Stalker for the same reason. I'm glad that it's getting a VR2, that it was announced on VR2. I'm too big of a scaredy cat to play it. Maybe I'll grow a pair and play it at some point, or actually, first I have to grow a pair and buy a PlayStation VR2, which my
Or
wallet,
a Meta Quest.
yeah,
Yeah.
or a MetaQuest, yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I
So
don't know.
one of the funny things for me is after that state of play, I did have to ask myself, like, do I make Death Stranding the game I beat, or do I go and try it like to beat the Metro games?
Those are
You
good.
know,
Those are
I
really good, Barry.
I
Mm-hmm.
have the Metro game. I have the remasters that they came out with for Series X.
Mm-hmm.
So a part of me like thinks I should, but the other
You
part
could
of
do
me,
both.
Yeah, we believe
two
in you.
games, two games.
That's what, 4 games, right? Isn't there 3 Metro games?
I
There
Yeah,
I
was the
think
2
it's only.
original, and then there was Exodus.
there was Exodus. Yeah,
Yeah, that's 3.
I didn't realize there were three. I thought it was two. Yeah, I guess I'll have to take a look. Hey, look,
Mhm.
yeah,
they're
because
all excited.
there's ones where
They're not insanely long though.
they're
I don't
not
think they are now.
they're
Yeah.
not, but they're like really intense rides for the
Right.
small amount of time that they are, and like they definitely have a specific game style that's awesome. Bullet currency, but also using as bullets, so you have to decide whether or not you're gonna spend the bullets or I don't know. There's a lot of small things that they do, and the aftermath of nuclear fallout is specifically done a great way. I don't know. It's and they got a is it bestiary or bestiary? Like, how do you say that word?
Bestiary.
They,
Bestiary.
they do a bestiary right. There's some memorable enemies
Yep.
in Metro, like stuff that
Agreed.
there's some memorable enemies.
Agreed.
But then some smaller news, and speaking of the state of play, MLB The Show was left out of it this year, but they continue to announce what's going on with the game. They announced, I think it's Edwin Encarnacion Jr. is the cover athlete. I was really hoping for a Diamondbacks player. I'll be honest, but I didn't get that. I didn't get my hope there. I just thought I would have put money that MLB The Show would have been in this state of play because it is a PlayStation studio. But I'll be honest, it seems like PlayStation, like, to leave them out feels almost like a slight against them.
Do you think it has anything to do with it being on day one on Game Pass?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I know PlayStation fans like myself feel slighted at the fact that, you know, I pay for both PlayStation Plus Extreme Extra Ultimate Edition.
Yep.
And I pay for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Edition. And for whatever reason, Ultimate Edition's the one that gets MLB The Show for free.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's a PlayStation studio game. And I know it's more to do with MLB than PlayStation, but it is insane to me that the premier and only baseball game on the market really just did not get any talk about at the state of play. So, you know, it's supposed to come out next month, I believe, or April, and it's insane that it feels like we haven't heard anything about it, not one peep, unless you go and look for it yourself.
It's not a game that I've ever bought in my entire life. But I love that it's on Game Pass because I download it and I play it for like a solid 2 months.
Yeah.
And I love that. So I'm glad it's on Game Pass, but it does feel like Sony is like, well, it's on Game Pass, so we're just not going to talk about it anymore. You know, like, which is wild because it sells well.
It does.
And maybe it doesn't anymore because of that.
I'd actually be curious because, like you guys said, it's got the baseball market cornered.
Then put it on PlayStation Plus. What are you doing?
I just feel like at that point Sony is trying to make up, you know, whatever some sort of money they put into that studio, and I truly don't know how much or what kind of deal was brokered to get that. It's kind of one of the more baffling gaming, you know, business decisions I've ever seen. But we don't make those deals, nor have we ever heard anything about what it took to make that deal. So it's weird, but we'll go from there. Smaller things that I saw this week. Spec Ops: The Line gets pulled from all gaming kind of selling sites over a music licensing agreement being expired. So I imagine that game's probably not coming back. If
another reason to have it physically. Mine's over there. It's over there.
I should have.
Right here somewhere.
I heard a lot of good things about that game. I really should have bought it physically.
If you've never played Spec Ops: The Line, you need to play it. It's incredible.
I'm gonna have to take your copy. It sounds like.
Yep, it's over there. You know where it is.
We have Embracer Studios lays off 97 employees and cancels the new Deus Ex game. Yeah. So we really don't know where it's going from here. Again, every week we talk about another big gaming studio that's laying off more employees. Deus Ex has a following. But we have not heard anything for years. So, at what point, it feels like, okay, kind of have to cut our losses here or figure out, or maybe they're starting from scratch. And it's like, no, we can't keep starting from scratch without having to cut. Yep. And lastly, the canceled Call of Duty Neversoft game of early footage was shown off of it. It looked like a sci-fi shooter this time around. We all know how Advanced War went, but overall, do we want to get our boots off the ground for the next Call of Duty? It's amazing. It's amazing how everybody was screaming for, I just want classic Call of Duty back.
boots on the
And
ground.
now it feels, yeah, exactly. And now it feels like I need an exoskeleton so that I can feel like I'm playing Titanfall again.
Can I interest you in a Titanfall 3?
Yeah, Titanfall 3.
Ooh,
Just make it.
That's what I need on the Jeopardy
please,
board.
Yeah.
please.
But that is all I had for news. If you guys had
Okay.
anything else, I will let you take the floor.
So I have two smaller ones, and then I'm gonna kick it over to you, Craig, because then I have questions, one for each of you after
All
that.
right.
I'm scared.
So here we go.
Question time.
Small one here, kind of. Sony is rumored to be working on a new handheld compatible with PS4 and PS5 games. Do we call it the Vita 3? What do we call this thing? And how much would you pay for it if it's not the Portal where you have to have your PlayStation on? Truly portable. How much you paying?
For max
400?
400. That's probably not going to
Okay.
happen based on how they've been pricing their stuff.
That's the portion. I don't think it would be. There's no way it's going to be 400. It would be 500. I feel like it would be very hard for me to reasonably pay $500 for a PSP2.
Yeah.
My main concern is just the life support. Vita died before it got off the ground.
Sony killed it.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I fear, is that if this platform doesn't skyrocket up the markets right away, then they're just going to cut support again for it. And it's like, I don't want to get burned like that again. I loved my Vita, but
Yeah, me too.
they cut it off before it ever could grow.
They killed the Vita. They killed the first PSVR. The
Yeah.
PSVR 2, in my opinion, is already dead in the water. Like they just don't. They put these things out and then they don't care.
Here's my question: is we live in a different portable time?
Yep.
With portable representation, and we've seen a market for this, combined with we've seen something like the Steam Deck with complete synchronized nature. Do it right. Do you think that'll make PlayStation care about this more? I don't know.
I don't think so.
That's my question.
But if they're just tapping into the PS4 and PS5 library and not separating it like they did with the Vita, then it wouldn't matter. It'll stay around because you'll still have your PS5 games that you can play. But if they do where it's your PS5 games and your PlayStation Vita 3 games, it's going to die in 2 years.
Yeah, personally, just me, what would it be doing differently that the other two, haven't done? The Switch is primarily portable, but you can connect it up to a TV.
Yep.
And then when it comes to the Steam Deck, you have, for the first time, the first time in history, you could take Steam games with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of its big selling point, along with the fact that it's running a Windows operating system. So you can put other games on it. It's very easily customizable, where Sony, I feel like, is on one end, like they're not going to do anything original. It's going to be the fact that, I can take Kingdom Hearts 4 with me on the go. Probably 3. What am I thinking of? It's Kingdom Hearts 3.
Did you see an announcement? Do you see an announcement that we didn't at the stadium?
No, it's because I'm watching videos on Kingdom Hearts 4. That's why it popped into my head. So.
That's fair. Okay.
The other small one at me.
The other small one I had is Alan Wake 2 got the chapter select and also a jump scare modifier.
I saw that.
Barry, are you going to be adjusting your jump scare modifier?
No.
I was gonna.
I am very, very happy for people that I can't imagine trying to be. So many games now have flashing lights and over sensory stuff. If you're a person who has epileptic episodes, and I do have a friend that does. He's not a big gamer though. This is this is another win for accessibility.
Yep.
Is my main thing there. So, Alan Wake 2 is again high sensitivity podcast game of the year, and many other outlets have also agreed that it's at least one of the top 3 games of the year. So if that's being the case, let it be accessible to more people. And while those jump scares have a lot to do with the tension that it creates,
Yes.
It's not always about tension. It's more like let's get this game in the hands of more people. And
Yeah.
I'm for it, very for it.
I played Alan Wake 2 without a sound bar because playing it late at night, neighbors. So I played it with my television TV, and somehow Alan Wake 2 was able to make me jump with a combination of the lights, the sound that they were using, and also the tension that they created prior to it. I have never been jump scared at like often and in succession and in quick succession as Alan Wake 2. So, but make it accessible because I mean, I'm a gamer. I'm going to sit through those because of the quality of the game. But like that does make it accessible to a lot more people, most definitely. Maybe I'll get my parents are in their 70s, maybe I'll get them to play it.
There you go.
That'll be the console seller.
Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna throw it over to you, Craig, and then I'll hit you guys with your questions.
Well, yeah, besides because like I also saw that about Alan Wake. I had Suits. Not something we talk about on the show a lot, but a spinoff is in the works. The reason why I'm talking about it is Suits, you'd have to say, is probably one of the more popular non-Netflix based Netflix stream shows. Yep. And also, before she was part of the royal, or at least married into the royal family, people like me were watching Meghan Markle on that show. So there is a spinoff coming. There's no real announcement of the cast that's going to be there. I know that J. Patrick Adams is going to. He said that if they want me to, I'll be back in. But for people who are a fan of that show or were a fan of that show when it was going on, it's an interesting premise as well. You know, where essentially, you know, there was a law student who conned his way into becoming a lawyer and acting as a lawyer. In a very, I think, hilariously done first 15 minutes of the actual show.
Yep.
But spinoff on the way. Is it going to be a like successful? Because we've seen successful spinoffs and we haven't. So, but
I'm really surprised you didn't do like a Suits successful. I was
Suits
really
I need a pen.
Yeah, I was really surprised you didn't go for that joke, but
How did I not?
Yeah, it's probably my mind's in a different place. All the corny jokes in Persona 3, I should not be making these jokes. Persona 3 is making me. So.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know, but something to look for down the road.
Yeah. Okay.
Questions.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I got a question for both of you, and here's how it works. I have a list of 10 games. Craig, top 10 games of the 90s. Barry, top 10 games of the 2000s.
Oh, I love this.
And here's what I want to do. I'm going to list these. What we're going to do is I'm going to have you say one that you'll keep and then say one that you are taking off the list and so on and so forth. So you end up with keeping 5, cutting 5. Got it?
Okay.
Oh, God.
Make it simple. Here we go. I'm going to start with you, Craig. We're starting in the 90s. All right. Here's your 10 games. I want you to first give me the one that you'll keep. We have Pokemon Red and Blue, Final Fantasy VII, Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Half-Life, Metal Gear Solid, GoldenEye 007, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Resident Evil, Super Mario Kart. Which one you keeping first?
That is not fair. That is not fair.
Which one you keep and save?
Which one am I saving?
Saving.
Metal Gear Solid. Just
okay.
Fanboy.
So,
fanboy.
All right. Now, give me one that you'll cut, and I can read them again if you need.
Resident Evil. I have to do a gut.
Resident Evil.
I have to do a gut on that first.
All right. So we're keeping Metal Gear. We're cutting Resident Evil. What's the next one you keep?
Ooh. Final Fantasy VII.
Okay. We got Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy VII. What's the next one you're cutting?
Sleepover Craig is very mad at 35-year-old Craig. GoldenEye.
Wow.
I'm not happy saying that. I shouldn't be happy with any of these though.
Okay. What's your third one you're keeping?
Can you read them again?
Yeah. So what you have left: Pokemon Red and Blue, Super Mario 64, Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Half-Life, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Super Mario Kart.
That's not fair, man.
Which one? You've cut 2, you've kept 2, so we're keeping a third.
Ocarina.
Okay. And what are you cutting?
Mario Kart.
Wow.
Oof.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah, that
So
one.
you have So you have 3 of each. You have left. You're going on the one you're keeping next. You have Pokemon Red and Blue, Mario 64, Half-Life, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Which one are you keeping?
This is not going to be a popular pick, man. Half-Life.
Okay. Half-Life started the FPS thing. All right. Which one are you cutting? You got Pokemon, Super Mario 64, Tony Hawk.
No. Tony, no.
Look, you've said Tony Hawk twice.
Tony,
we know
Tony.
Tony Hawk. Okay,
We know
you're
he
cutting
likes
Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
hate this.
you got Pokemon and Super Mario. You're keeping one. You're cutting one.
Pokemon, keeping.
You're cutting Mario 64.
Not proudly.
Yeah, you cut both Mario games out of here.
All right, so you kept Pokemon Red and Blue, Final Fantasy VII, Ocarina of Time, Half-Life, Metal Gear Solid. You cut Mario 64, GoldenEye, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Resident Evil, and Mario Kart. Okay.
I did those things.
Barry, are you ready for your games?
Yep, I'm going to be writing them down as you say them, so that way maybe I can
All
make it
right.
a little bit easier.
All right, here we go. These are the games of the 2000s.
All right.
Halo 2. Metroid Prime. Wii Sports. GTA 4. Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Metal Gear Solid 4. Final Fantasy X. Rock Band. Kingdom Hearts. Mass Effect. So which one are you keeping first, Barry?
Oh my god, I almost know what he's gonna say. For like a couple of them at least.
If he doesn't pick this one first, I'm gonna be surprised.
Okay, so sorry, I was just
No, you're good.
writing it all down. So Kingdom Hearts, yes, definitely.
You're keeping
definitely
Kingdom
save it.
Hearts first.
Yep.
Number 1 off the board. All right.
Yep.
What's the first one cut?
MSG4.
Wow.
Do not blame
thought-
you.
Okay. That's
I don't
fair.
blame you.
All right.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't.
What are you keeping?
Next one is going to be Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
Okay. Good pick. And cut. This is tough.
You gosh darn right, it's tough.
I have a couple in mind. I'm just trying to not make a mistake, I guess, is how I feel like I'm trying to do. You said now we're not I'm taking away Mass Effect.
Mass Effect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, taking or
Wow.
cutting?
Cutting.
You're cutting. He's cutting Mass Effect.
Craig,
Okay.
I'll hold you back.
That's fine. This is Barry's choices. All right. So what are you keeping next?
We are then going to go with Rock Band,
Yeah. Okay. And then you're cutting.
Final Fantasy 7. Sorry, 10.
Wow. Okay. I thought you really liked that. That's
Well,
fine.
yeah, I do, but we gotta cut some.
All right. Continue. What are you keeping?
GTA 4.
Keeping GTA. All right. Got 3 left. Which one you
Yeah.
cutting? Just gotta
Wii
think about
Sports.
this one. Really? Wii Sports was system seller. All right.
It was.
So you got Halo 2 and Metroid Prime.
Halo 2.
Keeping, cutting Metroid. See, Metroid for me would have been one of the first ones gone. But so you kept Halo 2, GTA 4, Smash Brothers Brawl, Rock Band, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And you cut Metroid Prime, Wii Sports, Metal Gear Solid 4, Final Fantasy X, Mass Effect.
Yep.
Okay.
I feel good. That felt real good. Yeah.
I don't.
That's tough. I personally, I feel like the 90s list was a little bit tougher. I feel like there's more bangers in the 90s, but there's a lot of bangers in the 2000s too.
There are.
Like, do you think about like the beginning of Rock Band, the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, the beginning of Mass Effect, Halo? Those are all huge games. I can't believe you cut Wii Sports.
So if I could explain myself a little bit,
Okay.
I went for more of like I do understand the cultural reference that was Wii
Sure.
Sports, but if we look at defining the shooter genre, we look at Halo 2. If we
Yep.
look at defining one of the music genres and one of the biggest pastimes, Rock Band,
Yep.
Smash Brothers Brawl continues even to this day to be a competitive game that people hold in high regard. You have
Yep.
GTA 4 regarded as one of the best GTA of
Yep.
all time. And for me, Kingdom Hearts then is a personal fan favorite and a collaboration, one of the biggest collaborations between two of the biggest franchises in gaming, Squaresoft at the time and Disney.
Yeah.
Come at me,
True.
haters. I win. That's the list. You
My
can't,
first one cut.
negotiate this.
My first one cut would have been probably, if I think about it now, Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
Yep. But it is held in high regard.
Absolutely. I hold that game in high regard. I hold Final Fantasy X in very high regard.
So do I. Yep.
Yeah, same.
So do I.
Same.
But for the sake of genuinely better games, other than putting my own feelings aside, that's what I did.
That's fine. All right. Nice job, everybody. We can go to the games now.
I can't wait for you to cut that up on TikTok. Should be fun.
That's why I
Yeah.
did it.
I know.
There was a reason.
Yep. Always a reason.
Mhm.
So let's talk about games this week and games, my friends. Games. Let me tell you.
Games everywhere.
We were busy this week. For
Mhm.
me, I took it upon myself to sacrifice myself as
Okay.
the person who put the most hours into Granblue Fantasy Relink.
Okay.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, no problem. You know, I know you guys were playing the other games, so I have to
Yep.
I have to give the opinions here. Persona 3 Reload was the other game I put some hours into this week. And those are the two because I did not start Suicide Squad yet.
Okay. I have some Suicide Squad. I did play through the Silent Hill, the short message, and then I can't get away from Infinite Wealth.
So I'm so
hard.
Craig, I'm so glad you said that. So
Yep.
Silent Hill short message also played through. That was kind of a tandem thing with myself and my wife. I have 2 hours into Persona 3 Reload
Okay.
because
That is surprising.
because Infinite Wealth, my guys,
Oh my god.
I cannot put the controller down for that. I will have a lot more hours next week of Persona 3 Reload. I can give a first take, kind of, but it's all Infinite Wealth.
You're not finishing Infinite Wealth this week.
I'm not, but like that game's hard to put down, man.
It is.
And I know we'll talk about why, but
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you guys talk about Infinite Wealth? It is the older of the games that we've been playing.
Now I feel like we're all like the two of us are enough into that game to give a firm impression. And for me, it's like I'm still only on chapter 4. And it's because every time I go to do the main mission, there's all these things that come up, but none of them have been bad. Where I'm just like, I just get sucked into like, I mean, it started with the one that I'm sure you were referring to, Craig, when you texted was the dating app, which was hilarious.
Yes.
Carryover from the Like a Dragon, same type of thing, except you're texting. That was amazing. And then like there's the food delivery, which is incredible. Which is basically just like Crazy Taxi.
It's Crazy Taxi.
It's Crazy Taxi. And then there's the Sujumon, which is just Pokemon.
It's Pokemon with humans.
Which sucked me in. I haven't even gotten to the Animal Crossing thing yet. Still not there. But then you also just have like, I have not had a side mission yet that I didn't enjoy. Like every side mission has been funny or like entertaining, and then just wanting to walk around and see everything. I bet you I spent a good 2 hours in the mall, like just walking around.
Yeah,
it's wild. I'm just like, okay, I know there's a story, but I can't even get to it because I just keep getting distracted by all the pretty things. And that's I guess a good problem to have. I guess.
It is.
Yeah.
They should change the name of the game to Like a Dragon Infinite Content.
Yeah, for real.
Infinite content. That's good. I like
And,
that.
Yeah.
and what's hilarious too is like I put down Pal World to play this. That's the last game that I played before Infinite Wealth is Pal World, and then they just brought in Sujimon, and like
Yeah.
I know that it's not the survival aspect of it, but I'm getting my Pokemon fix. They even
Mhm.
have like essentially what is the Elite Four, but like
Yep.
they just named it differently, and you have to build up the Pokemon and such like that, so, or the Sujimon,
Sujimon.
and
Yep.
even the acquisition of them is hilarious with the presenting of the present, the mashing of the X button so that you can woo them over so that
Yep.
they'll join your team. Um, Definitely, you see Infinite Wealth trying to step away and make sure that people don't think that you're human trafficking. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just
Yep.
there's so many mini games in there that remind you of other games, and because those games have not been played maybe recently or done well recently to the gamer that's playing Infinite Wealth, you get sucked into that mini game. You
Yep.
know, like I know that Animal Crossing's one is coming. I haven't gotten to it either, and I'm in chapter 5, but I know I will get sucked in there too because I have not played an Animal Crossing that does Animal Crossing like Animal Crossing. And I feel
Yep.
like they're going to do it in their own way that's going to make me dedicated to it.
Yeah.
On top of that, you have the job system and the RPG nature. I just got to the point where you could switch jobs, and they like a dragon does, they do it in a hilarious way, which that's the core.
Yep.
There's side missions, there's mini game. Sorry, that's the same thing. There's side missions, there's deep content, there's overcoming humanity type things that we can relate to as humans. Some we can't,
Mhm.
and some we can. And then, like we said last week, there's the delivery of the emotional side of it that keeps you engrossed into the cutscenes and such like that. But what Like a Dragon, what the Yakuza slash Like a Dragon series does consistently well is there is some type of comic relief side in their delivery that just keeps you going. They take it and they make it theirs. They take this idea and they make it theirs, and then they deliver it and you're like, okay, and then you just keep playing.
Yeah. And that's not even mentioning the. I can't believe I got sucked into building up my friends list
I know. I'm
by
waving at
waving
everybody.
at people.
I know.
I'm like, what is.
There is not a hand
How?
holding button, but there is a waving button.
There is a waving button, but I'm just like, I don't think I've ever played a game where every single mini game side thing, I'm just like, I want to do it.
Mhm.
Not even at other Yakuza games, because like the other games, you would find a couple things where you'd be like, if I think back to the originals, it was like, oh, the arcades are cool. Um, the batting cages are cool. I don't really mess a whole lot with the real estate, but like, but there was like give and take. This one, like every time they put one in the game, I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing that for the next 4 hours. Like nothing else matters until I build up my Sujimon decks
Yeah.
of and collect them all. Or, oh man, if I wave at a couple more people, my friendship level is going to go up. Better go do that. Oh, this kid, I can't be friends with him unless I get him this out of this claw machine. Let me go do that real quick for 20 minutes. Like it's wild how much it's like this game's like crack, man.
It's like crack. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you're a kid and there's a Happy Meal in front of you, and
Yeah.
you're like nothing else tastes like McDonald's burgers. Or you can attack me for that, and if you guys are all
Yeah.
Burger King or Wendy's,
Burger King's pretty
feel
good.
free you at home listening and watching to attack me on that. But anyway, yeah, there's something for everybody, and the Hawaii setting is really growing on me very quickly. There's enough
Yep.
map where it's not too much, but there's just something going on in every corner of the street that you're going on, and there's still a heavy difficulty aspect of it
Yeah.
too. It's not it's not overwhelmingly hard, but it's good because it's
No.
not an easy game. I've even reached a level where like when you start going back to easy foes, you hit the L2 button and it just takes you through that battle real quick so you can keep doing what you were trying to do.
Yep.
um I know I told you two gentlemen that I don't think it's going to move from my top 10. I know we said that about Hogwarts Legacy last year, but like this is a strong case for being a top 10 no matter what game gets put out between now and December. So,
Yep.
um,
Agreed.
fantastic game.
Yeah. Um, what else? Do you just want to run through Silent Hill real quick? That's a short experience.
Yeah,
Did you
literally.
did you go through it 3 times?
Not 3 times, no, just the
You did?
no. So I was not aware of anything after the first go around.
Oh yeah, you have to go through it 3 times.
The whole thing.
Yeah, it changes every time.
What in
Yeah.
this economy? How did I not know
Okay.
that? Okay, go ahead. Go
So
ahead. I missed
no, like,
something.
did you go through like your first playthrough? It's probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? Ish. Does that sound about right?
Wait. I did go at 3. So like she wakes up 3 times.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
what I
Oh,
mean.
I thought that like once you beat it, there was like
Oh no, no,
a
no, no,
plus or
no,
something that had
no,
different.
no,
Oh,
no, no.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
you did it all.
Yeah.
Okay. The easiest way I can put it is I like the story. I like the direction Silent Hill is going if this is what they're doing. What I don't like is I've never been a fan of the Outlast type of horror game. And I don't like the chase sequences. I
Okay.
think they're specifically the last one where you have to
Oh
like
my god.
let me find this stuff. I have to find like 5 things while it's chasing me before I can get to the exit. I just don't like that style of horror. Like I don't find it entertaining. I find it annoying because at that point, like it's not stressful anymore. It's just like, all right, I have to memorize which way to turn. I'm gonna die like 4 times before I figure out where I'm supposed to go. But the story is cool. What they told, and I
Yeah.
think it looks good. I just I hope that's not what they're doing with the actual game.
Yeah, I don't think they will. If anything, I think if they're going this route, there will be some like cutscene moments
Yeah,
where they just add it. But like this game was all that when you with your interaction with the enemy or it
yeah,
yeah. And that last one was pretty intense because
yeah,
you kind of don't know like my wife and I were confused at that sequence of like what we were supposed to find. So you just keep running around and trying not to die.
yep,
And like sometimes that enemy was laser focused and other times you could juke it. It was weird.
yep.
And we did get like 4 or 5 and then die, and then we got the fifth and we didn't know where we were supposed to go. Like, because you
Yep.
know it's a labyrinth at that point, essentially.
Mhm.
I did like the story and how it went. It touched on a lot of, and they tell you 4 million times before you start playing, but it did touch on self harm, suicide,
Yep.
being in your preteen teens and dealing with that, or having a friend that is going through that. You know, I don't want to say dealing with it like dealing with it, but like going through that, having that on your mind and not knowing what to do and where to go and who to talk to and who to admit to it. So like that's the heavy part before you play this game. That it's all about that.
Yep.
Um, First person Silent Hill,
It's cool.
that's like yeah, especially
Mhm.
because it retained its Silent Hillness,
Yeah.
which is like when it's going on it changed, like the atmosphere changed and you kind of knew you were in trouble. But yeah, the chase scenes were kind of weird.
Yeah.
A weird introduction. um it felt like it they looked at Resident Evil and what they did with their progress and they were like, oh, let's do that, because that was essentially what Jack was doing in Biohazard
Yeah.
at moments, at times, without the unstoppable evil somewhere lurking in the house kind of thing, which is what he was. But anyway,
Yeah.
it was nice for the bite-sized amount and also to get you to the finished Silent Hill projects. It's not going to get me hit to Silent Hill 2 because we already talked about how we feel about that.
Yeah.
But I liked what they did with it. I liked what they were touching in terms of the story and the content. So it was
Agreed.
free. It was free
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. It's a good free game, I guess. Barry.
My turn.
Granblue Fantasy. Give it to me.
I'm
Granblue Fantasy
interested.
versus Relink. I
Yeah.
definitely, this is what I put the most hours into. I've put in over 6 hours just today,
Mm.
and like overall, I am there. There are some bad points of the game, which I will get into, but for the most part, for me, this is a very fun, easy to get into game. Um, they I know a little bit of Granblue's history, so it's a little bit easier for me to make sense of what's going on in the story. They do give you a background of what's going on, but I have so much fun with the combat enough to carry me through. I think the boss battles are all insanely fun. They are like there's a mix of like Final Fantasy 16 epicness with the kind of Final Fantasy 14 where there are moments where you are not attacking him. You need to be focused on dodging his moves and dodging the boss's moves. And I've really enjoyed that portion of things. I haven't gotten to play multiplayer as I don't know anybody else playing this game, but I enjoy the Monster Hunter aspect type of things where I can pick my favorite character, I can level him up and then take my favorite character online to play with, other people's favorite characters. There is a ton of like flexibility to it. The story is not long and the story does not drag on. The story just it moves. It's meant to be beaten in 20 hours, and then if you want to go further into the game, do all the side missions, Monster Hunter S side missions, S plus plus, all of the side missions, you absolutely can. But you don't have to. You can just get into the main story and enjoy it that way. I really enjoy all of the bonus fighters that you can get, and it's not something that they just like let you pick all of the fighters so you're overwhelmed. You slowly get to unlock more fighters. And I've been enjoying a lot of aspects of this game. Really the only two that I have an issue with is the Fate quote unquote episodes. They give you background about the characters because if you've never played Granblue, you have no idea who these characters are. I'll be honest, I have no idea who most of these people are. And the Fate episodes are pretty much just text walls of the voice actor telling you their history, telling you what, their relationship to Gran or the main character, whatever you decide to call him, uh, and his crew. So you get to learn more about them, but they are just text walls. Like, I'll be honest with you, I got through enough of the game today where like I had a decent amount of those Fate episodes to do, and all they really do is either give you one boosted up stats so your character gets stronger from doing it, or you do like a short. Some of the missions are like short little like fetch quests or missions that you can do to unlock an extra sigil for your weapon that allows you to further increase your stats with like a strength modifier, a regen modifier, that kind of thing. So there is a reason to do it, and I'll be honest, you can just X through all of this, and it really does not matter.
The old Craig.
Yep.
You really aren't missing a thing. Because I'm going to be honest with you, there's not a lot of people who want to sit through all that. I'll be honest, I really didn't sit through it. I was making dinner while going through these. I just let them autoplay as like ambient background listening music. And for a lot of people, that's boring. That will take you out of the game. But it's a double-edged sword. Like, one, you don't have to do them, and you're not missing out on much. But two, I wish they would do more. I wish, like, if I did these Fate episodes with my favorite characters, that they, like, not only boosted stats, but maybe special moves with certain characters that they're close with, or something like that. But you don't get that here. It's just either boosted stats or sigils. As far as I am in the game, that is all that has happened with Granblue Fantasy Versus.
Okay.
But I think the game looks magnificent. Like, Craig, I know you're not big into JRPGs like this. It's a 20-hour. But the watercolor art style is absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely anime-like for sure. But I enjoy just looking at the art sometimes that this game produces. Everybody looks very well drawn. Everybody looks very well taken care of. And the voice acting is all good. I really, really do like this game, and I've hoped that my liking of it continues. I think there's enough fun in the story that, Craig, you don't know anything about Granblue, but I think you'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
I really do think you will.
I'm excited to play that game this year. I just need to figure out when.
It sounds almost which is crazy because they both came out this week, but it sounds almost identical to Suicide Squad.
Yep, yeah, kind of in a way. Suicide Squad is more of a live action game. This is not that.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind. And I think that's probably why Granblue is being received a lot better than Suicide Squad is. It's not a live action game.
Mm-hmm.
But then, speaking of like anime wise games, Persona 3 Reload, I've put in about 2-3 hours ranging. I enjoy this game. The music, like, it's hard for me not to compare it to Persona 5 because there is a lot that this takes from Persona 5, but also is kind of trying to be its own thing. And I completely get that. I completely get what they're trying to do. But for a lot of people, it needs to be familiar to Persona 5 most for them. And in the combat, you can see that that's what they're doing. But overall, like, I'm interested in the story. I'm interested in what's going on. High school students, the Dark Hour, Tartarus, all that fun stuff. I've been enjoying Persona 3 Reloaded in my short span with it so far. I know this is the longer game that I'll be playing. So
It's like
um,
100 hours, right?
80,
80.
80,
Okay.
yeah,
It's actually
80
more
is possible.
forgiving. Yeah.
80 is more forgiving. That's hilarious.
Did
Not as good as Persona 5 and 4, right?
We have to get there.
Okay.
Persona 5 and 4's like biggest thing is at the end. Like all
Okay.
of this stuff comes,
culmination.
yeah, the
Yeah.
culmination of everything you're doing starts to come together. And I've played Persona 3 the original. I did kind of like how hard Persona 3 was because I couldn't control the computer characters. In this game, you do. In this game, you have complete control of your party. And I get that. Just for modern game sakes, that makes it a lot easier for people to get into. I just overall am enjoying it so far, and once we get to the climax, I can really tell you what it does. It's just unfortunate. I probably got to get 70 hours into the climax.
Are you going to play through the whole thing?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. And Craig, you will as well eventually.
Oh my God, yeah. It was just an infinite wealth week. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be putting some time into Persona 3 Reload. I was sad. Tracks bumping, love it.
Yeah.
I know it's an updated track, but like you could see the Persona 5 esque touch to the game. I already saw who is essentially Ryuji, but was done before Ryuji.
Yeah,
Has the same archetype. You know.
Okay.
yeah. Just overall, like, I really am surprised. Like, this game does come with a couple warnings, for like the stuff that it goes into. I'm really surprised they don't talk more about like the way they summon their personas is shooting themselves with an
Yeah.
invoker. So I'm really surprised there's no like warning before this all happens that it's not like all about and it is a little bit about like the suicide portion of things. But I'm just
It
surprised
is.
there's no more of warnings for people who may not have. You see this game, it doesn't look like this type of game, but it is.
Right.
That's the bright colors just facading you into thinking you're safe.
What I will like, and Barry, I think you'll like it too, is that we will end up finishing this game because remember it is an Atlas game, obviously, but Persona 5, even the opening of Persona 5 takes so much cooking before you can start really eating. And like Persona 3, they were like, hey, and then you just kind of like walk around. Some characters are explaining stuff to you. There's dope cutscenes. There's a lot of blue, which is nice to contrast Persona 5's red. I noticed because there's so much red and different shades of that. Um, but I don't know. They kind of put you in a lot faster because obviously the game was older and written to
Yeah,
put you in a lot faster. So I think we'll have fun with this one.
yeah,
Okay.
it definitely gets into it quicker. I absolutely agree with that.
All right.
But
So
if we're ranking openings, Persona 5 Royal's opening is still better.
okay.
Just so we're all aware.
Hands down.
Yeah, hands down, no questions
So
asked.
so Persona 5 is the gold standard, even though Persona 4 Golden is out there.
Oh, I see what you did there,
Yeah.
Craig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Suicide Squad. What I can tell you so far from what I've played is Barry, this is Avengers again for us.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is a even though I haven't beaten it, like I'm only like 2 hours in, this is a 9 to 10 hour game. When you're done with the game, if you want to keep playing, since it is a live service game, you can. I think I know us all well enough to know that we probably won't when we're done with the main story, but I can tell you so far that I'm enjoying the main story just like I did the Avengers game. They all the characters look great. Harley Quinn is like head and shoulders above everybody else as far as her animation. I don't know what they did with her, but like She is like lifelike. I enjoy the cutscenes. I enjoy the story. I just did like a part with Batman, and I thought it was incredible. I thought it was incredibly well done. You're kind of like walking around and he's stalking you, typical Batman style, and it's like he's throwing like the smoke bombs and the gel on the floor and all that you're used to from the Arkham games, but you're on the opposite side now of it. I think the game is entertaining. I don't think it's a great game. I think it's enough fun to play through once. I don't think very many people are going to be like, yeah, let's play this game for 100 hours. Let's get all these weapons and that kind of stuff. But I think if you're going to play with friends, or even if you're going to play by yourself, I think the story is enough that you can play through it and be like, that was fun. You know, it's getting a lot of hate. I can say that, a ton of hate. I don't think it's as deserved as some people think. I think a lot of the hate is coming from people who have not played it. They're just kind of piling on. But I like the idea of taking out these superheroes. I think it's cool. I think it's something different. You know, and is it going to end up on a list for me this year? Nah. Yeah, it's not going to be anywhere near the top 10, but I think I'm going to have a good time for 10 hours, and then I'll be back on Infinite Wealth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's about really all I can ask for. I guess like deep down, I was hoping this would be like another Arkham Asylum type game. It's not that type of game. It's a small open world with side quests that you can do. And your main quest, if you want to do the side quest to get new weapons or whatever, you can. But it's a very self-contained, quick story, and then they want you to stick around. But like I said, I don't think anybody's gonna stick around. If that's fair.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's it for games. I know we're running a little bit longer here today, but we got to get into the TV and
Those TVs and movies.
Yeah, TVs and
The
movies.
Teebs and the moves.
Yep.
For me this week, I have finished Pokemon Concierge, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and of course, in Barry fashion, I've seen Argylle.
Oh God, the one movie you choose to go see.
Dua Lipa.
Yeah,
Gotta do it.
Who's that?
There was a lot of games this week, so I watched 2 movies this week, so it's down from my normal. But I did watch The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, and I watched Bosco.
Okay, I dropped into something older. Because well, it's not too old, but Super Bowl's coming up, so my wife and I watched Kelce. I know that's what came out like last year in like November or something like that, maybe earlier. But that's all I got.
All right, so I'll talk about my stuff first because you guys went first last time. The shortest of them is Pokemon Concierge, a 15-minute. They've got 4 15-minute splash episodes up on Netflix about this. The show takes you through who essentially is a human with all of the day stresses of being a human, and then gets sent. Not really sent, but gets a job at a Pokemon hotel for both humans and Pokemon. And it's pretty much just the 4 episodes are kind of figuring out herself and figuring out Pokemon as well. I absolutely love this show. The only bad thing is that there isn't more episodes. The show's aesthetic is just so spot on. It is so comfy. Eevee is the most adorable thing I've seen in the entire world in this. It's like made of yarn. It's like one of those yarn plushy things. Mudkip looks fantastic, and then big scary Pokemon like Dragonite, he looks fun. Metagross makes constant appearances, Graveler. But I think what I enjoy most about this is that it's not just a show that focuses on like the Pokemon. Like it's not just cashing in on the Pokemon name. Like the main character, like she has real like stress issues, just like every other normal human, and I feel like I relate to her more than most Pokemon stuff that we see. She's constantly trying to do too much, constantly like can't just relax and take care of things. She's constantly thinking too much, and that's I think a lot of us,
Yeah.
right now. You can easily self-insert yourself into the series, but I find it so cute and so relaxing. I want more episodes. That's what sucks about this. 4 episodes is not enough.
Give Barry
Um,
more episodes.
yeah, I want more episodes. I feel like they're trying to see how this is going to do, but I can't recommend it enough for people to watch it. It is such a comforting show. I had so much fun watching it. I'll then move on to Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney Plus. Surprisingly liking this series. Percy Jackson is a big part of my childhood, as I've read most of the books. Um, and I just kind of enjoy the way they're taking twists and turns with the storybook and putting it back into the TV show. I do prefer the TV show over the movie right now, and I really
Yep.
only hope that we don't get. I worry so much about this because I feel like it's going to be, what was that one Disney show that got canceled? That a lot of people liked. It was sorcery, wizardry, old
Oh
timey.
man,
Yeah, like
it's
um,
gone from our memory.
yeah, it feels like it is. I know you guys will get the name of it, but I just get the feeling for whatever reason, like it's just gonna get canceled. Like as because a lot of people adored that series on Disney Plus,
Yep.
and they just went ahead. No, we're not doing it again. So it's like that's what I worry about, is that I feel like I'm gonna get it with this series. But man, does it start with an M?
I
I'm
can't
trying
find
to,
it.
yeah, I'm trying to find it too, and I'm also not having any luck.
I don't remember what it's called. I like the Percy Jackson series. I don't think it's going to get canceled, but could be wrong.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Argylle, the most the most talked about for being complete
Yeah.
trash on the internet. To be honest, like I just had fun with it. It's
Okay.
if you turn off your head and not worry about things making sense, it's fun. Um,
Is it Kingsman fun though? Because it's
so
same director.
yeah, and there's also a there. Well, no, that's a spoiler. I shouldn't say anything about that. But Argyle, what I really like about it is the fact that it takes itself so non-seriously.
Yeah.
So it just makes for these really stupid stunt action scenes. Like the quirky relationship between the characters, I think, is fun. I do admit, like there's definitely like this cash grab element to it. That is, all of these A-list actors doing this stuff. But this is kind of like we saw it with Netflix as well, and Apple TV is just kind of getting into it where, oh, we can just pay a lot of actors to do this and it's going to show up, and people will watch it because there's big named actors attached to it. I don't know a lot about the book. I don't know if the books are a lot better than what we're seeing here, but the constant like they do a magnificent job of switching between like Henry Cavill's character and Argyle themselves as a character, and there's this kind of duality that I really enjoyed. But this movie is not like something you're gonna go watch and you're gonna have this profound thought or want it to make sense. At one point, they're skating on crude oil, and it like there is Kingsman nuts to it, and I
Yeah.
do think if you like Kingsman, there is a little bit of that to it. I just
Okay.
don't think the Kingsman does have a much better story in my eyes. Um, and I'm talking about the original two movies. The Kingsman, the third prequel
Ugh.
one, was a little iffy for me. I'm
Yeah.
not the biggest fan of that one, but there is a lot of fun to be had with this movie. It's just that if you compare the two, Argyle, it doesn't make as much sense. But I also feel like the stunts are even more insane
Okay.
in some of this stuff. So some of it doesn't even make any sense what they're doing, but they do it.
Okay.
I don't understand all the hate for it. It's not as bad as people are saying. Much like
Yeah, it's
Suicide
getting
Squad.
trashed.
Yeah, much like Suicide Squad. I don't think it deserves all this.
People need something
this
to like
trash.
hate.
Yeah,
They do. Yeah.
They need something to hate.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa's in it.
Uh,
Not that much. To be fair though, it's not the. It is the reason I went, but she's not in it that much. Bryce Dallas Turner Harper.
Howard.
Howard.
Yeah.
I think she does a really good job in this movie.
Okay. I like her a lot.
And I think if you guys watch it, I do think you guys will agree that she
Okay.
does a good job.
Okay. All right. I have like complete opposite ends of the spectrum between the Beekeeper and Bosco. So the Beekeeper, Jason Statham, I think we can all agree, like when he does what he is like his wheelhouse, he does a good job.
Yes.
Like I think back to like the Transporter. Even I would even say the first Meg. Like it's just that over the top. The Meg 2 was terrible, so we'll pretend like that doesn't exist. The first couple Expendables, like he knew what he was doing. The Beekeeper it reminded me of watching the Transporter again in a good way. It's just like you take the most stupid plot you can think of and let Jason Statham go, right? Like the whole plot of this movie is Jason Statham is a beekeeper. He is on this old lady's land, and this old lady gets the message on her computer. Your computer has a virus. Please call this number, right? One of those. She calls. They take all her money. I'll say this. It's not really a spoiler because it happens in like the first 10 minutes. They take all her money. She kills herself. That's the setup for the movie. He gets upset and goes and finds out where this call center is. Typical Jason Statham fashion. He has a background in all things kick-assery. Is that like the correct way to put it?
Yeah.
But that's all you need in a Jason Statham movie. Be like, okay, we know who the bad guys are. Well, I will say is like when you get to the end, where you get from to where you end, you're like, I looked back and I went, how did I get here? But I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Like it's so far from where you began, but it's just Jason Statham for an hour and a half, just absolutely trashing people, which is what I want in a Jason Statham movie. It almost reminds me of a John Wick, except he's not using guns. He's just Jason Statham's always hand to hand. So just take out the guns. He does use some, but like the majority of it is just hand to hand. I really liked it. I thought it was very cool. I enjoyed my time with it. Definitely check that one out. I actually had to look on Rotten Tomatoes after I was done. It's at like an 88.
It's at 88.
Yeah. So I'm not the only one, but I didn't even know. I just assumed, I was like, oh, this is probably at like a 40. And then I looked and I was like, oh, okay, everybody else likes it. We're cool. But then Bosco just came out on Peacock. I knew nothing about this movie. It is based on a true story of a man who was arrested for marijuana possession, and gets put in maximum security because he escaped from prison. It's a very self-contained movie. He's in maximum security. He finds out he has a kid coming, and he basically breaks out of the maximum security. That's the whole movie. It's based on, I looked it up afterwards. He wrote memoirs. He got out of jail in 2020. And he wrote memoirs on his experiences, on everything. And now he is like a leader in his community, helping people who stay out of trouble, one, and two, like when they get out of prison, get back to a normal life. It's a very cool movie. It has that little bit of like, if you ever watched the show like Prison Break,
Yeah.
it has that of him like figuring out how he's going to sneak out. And then in between that, they just intersperse like his childhood, and what led to him being in jail. His dad's played by Tyrese, which is cool.
Whoa, Tyrese.
Tyrese is the man.
Tyrese is the
man. So you get that in there. But it's just I thought it was a very well done. It's short. It's like an hour and a half. I thought it was really cool. And it came out of nowhere. They just like, I saw it. It was like, hey, new on Peacock. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll check that out. Very, very cool. So go check that one out too.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to. Like you had me at Tyrese.
Tyrese.
Mine's short and simple because it's been out for a while, but for our listeners who is attending a Super Bowl party or wants to get their last bit of football, I just recently watched Kelce with my wife. It's a documentary specifically centered on Jason Kelce, who is a center for the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, yeah, we'll see after this season. I hope he stays.
Maybe retired, maybe not.
Maybe.
We'll find out.
But yeah, that's actually the premise. I don't know if that's a spoiler alert because you can look it up on Wikipedia, but it was essentially him filming a documentary of the 2022 to 2023 season. He started filming it thinking that he was going to retire after that season, or trying to decide throughout the season. What you get from that documentary is actually a wonderful story about his life as what I would consider father and, husband of the year. Um, at least in capacity of football, doing both of those. And you get a backstory of how him and his wife met, the family they created together, and then you also get the relationship and the upbringing of him and his brother Travis Kelce, who is a very successful tight end. You probably know him either because you watch football or you know that Taylor Swift is dating him now, or that they're dating each other. It's a nice watch. There's enough football in there for football people. There's also enough deep moments in there for people who want more than just a surface level type of content. But it's kind of nice. I'm a big Jason Kelce fan, and to be honest with you, I'll tell you guys, as a Giants fan, I looked at my wife after that, and I told my wife that if there was a jersey that I would wear that is not a Giants jersey, which is my team, it's a Jason Kelce jersey at this point. And he's an Eagle, so that's even more blasphemous.
Yeah, it is.
That's extremely blasphemous, but it's a great take. It's really interesting. His wife, I think, is a big star of it because it's really nice to see her. Because I watched Quarterback, and you get to see the lives of like 3 other quarterbacks there, and it's interesting seeing like somebody Patrick Mahomes' wife and how she's handling the stardom of Patrick Mahomes and how he's handling it. And then you see this one, and Jason Kelce's going to be a Hall of Famer. And it was really interesting seeing how his wife handles 2 daughters with 1 more on the way during that season, amidst an extreme amount of popularity that fell upon him because he had the podcast starting. And there was a bunch of other things going on for him. They did the Christmas album, all that stuff. I think there's something in this for everybody. And I think it's filmed well enough that if you were like, I don't like football, it's very interesting to watch 2 brothers who grew up together, played sometimes together, and then ended up on 2 different teams and like their families, how tight they are. And it's a good watch. It's a really, really good watch. So if anything, you can brush up on your football knowledge before the Super Bowl party that you go to.
There you go. Brush up on your Taylor knowledge as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably come with some interesting facts for the Super Bowl, and they'll be like, you know what? They know what he's talking about.
Hey, get this guy more nachos. I don't know why somebody would say
that. But yeah, anybody needs to go through?
I don't think so.
No.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for all their support. If you feel so inclined, please make sure to leave a review on your podcast listening platform of choice, and please make sure to share it with anybody you think like this. And if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment on, our gaming. Comment on that. Maybe tell me Steller Blade is going to suck. Or something like that. You can't tell me otherwise. Like, I aced that list thing that Craig did.
I did.
I feel like there could be some pushback on those lists.
Absolutely aced it. There's no way you could even like remotely tell me I'm wrong here. I'm trying to set up engagement, Craig. So
there you go.
Please tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. That's what you need to do.
Fair.
Thank you again for all the support, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Later, guys.